right, 2, 3, 4.
Basketball. Ah! Stop! Please let me go! Please let me go first! I'm doing.
I would never fire any person in this room except Carl.
Oh no, I didn't do.
And Ronnie, I feel like you're just here for the zip line.
What?
All you do all day is go on the zip line.
Okay, hold on. You see this guy right here? I keep seeing this guy. Who is this guy? That is Tim Robinson. And you might wonder, who is this odd man that I always see that used to be on SNL? The truth is, this guy, Tim Robinson, failed on SNL. He wasn't able to succeed like his other castmates were. But him failing has arguably helped his career more than succeeding probably would have. It allowed him to slowly but surely cultivate and create a show that would become a cultural staple. And more importantly, become a show that would overshadow the entertainment giant that he failed so spectacularly on. And that show is called Live. There aren't many sketch comedy shows going on today. SNL has its mark on that, but if you look around the scope of entertainment, you aren't going to find full-on productions. You're not gonna find a Chappelle Show, a Key and Peele, a Portlandia. Well, of course, if it's your cup of tea. SNL is the most consistent and biggest one today. And for 50 years now, it is known nowadays for being very hit or miss.
Yes, I hate for it to come out like this, but Luigi was sleeping with Princess Peach, Mario's wife.
So how does the sketch show succeed today? Well, they don't, except for one. I Think You Should Leave isn't trying to operate in a current event timeline. It's not trying to make fun of your favorite or least favorite political figure. It's not trying to appeal to a latest trend. And it's not trying to make everybody laugh. And that is how it is able to thrive. I Think You Should Leave's whole premise is to showcase the absurdity of people's interactions with each other, and the refusal of admitting one's wrongdoing, even if that means derailing everything into madness.
Here comes a big wave!
Whether that be awkward dinner interactions,
On my date's eating all the fully loaded nachos.
Okay.
Can you say something to her?
Because we have a rule here that if you order nachos to share, one person can't just eat all the fully loaded nachos.
Did you ask him to come over here and say that?
What?
Did you ask him to say that?
What the hell are you talking about?
an infomercial,
Dog doors can be a problem.
What the fuck? What the fuck?
workplace disagreements,
Oh, 1:30? But it's lunch.
Yeah.
We enjoyed with her at the helm, but surpass it. Pat?
He's eating a hot dog.
Hold still, Pat!
You can't skip lunch.
I Think You Should Leave is not everybody's cup of tea. The humor is very subjective and is only going to be hilarious to certain people, occasionally funny to others, and will most likely cause a prolonged eyebrow raise to the person who put it on for most. And that's where Tim Robinson's humor has always resided, and why it was hard for him to get his start. The year is 1981. Tim Robinson was born into the world, but also in 2012, he was cast on Saturday Night Live. Robinson was a featured member of the show. He was able to carve out a role on the show, amongst heavy hitters like Jason Sudeikis, Bill Hader, Vanessa Bayer, Kenan Thompson, Fred Armisen, and Kate McKinnon. In some sketches, Tim was able to truly stand out, but he ultimately started to fade into the background. It was evident that Tim wasn't ready for the spotlight of SNL at that point. Tim became that song that you found one time and you played it constantly when you first started listening to it, but then as time went on, it just slowly started to fade and fade into your liked songs to where you don't even know if it's there anymore. International Players Anthem, where are you? And at the end of the season, he was told that he was being dropped from the cast and being sentenced to finish his contract in the writer's room. Now, most people, when given this ultimatum, would assume their fate and understand that their dreams of superstardom are nothing but ideas to be put on parchment paper and hung onto their wall. But Tim Robinson decided he wasn't going to just fade into the background. He was going to take this as an opportunity to grow and become better. Tim's style was evidently adjacent to the style of SNL, comedy that is to be consistent in appealing to the most amount of people as possible. But for Tim to be able to understand how to make his comedy work, he had to be able to hone his craft and become a better writer and understand what makes comedy on television work.
To every week have that show to like challenge yourself and push yourself to try and make a room full of people who have seen every comedy move on the planet laugh was so fun for me, and it gave me confidence because I got to do that every week, and I made some of my best friends, and I really loved it there.
And after 3 years on the show with connections made and experience created, Tim left the show to create Detroiters, a 2-season hit on Netflix with co-writer and star Sam Richardson, which really was the break that Tim needed after SNL. And after Detroiters, he would then focus on the project that he would be the most highly regarded for. Chip and Dale Rescue Rangers, of course! Also, I Think You Should Leave. He was also known for that. I Think You Should Leave is able to scratch an itch that many a show cannot. Saying a funny line in a funny voice is cool, but a lot of people do that. So how does Tim make a show that has so many people talk about it and have so many scenes from it go so viral so often? Yes, Tim grabs your attention with ridiculous scenarios. A hot dog costumed man trying to convince a store that he actually isn't the guy that crashed the hot dog shaped car into the store. But at the core of it, Tim bases his sketches in the anxieties and emotions of people, and so it allows the audience to connect with it. Even if it's a sketch where a bunch of dudes slick their hair back and put water on steaks at Giuffani's. That sketch in particular, it's a house party and Tim's character is asked if he wants to hold a baby. And as he's holding the baby starts crying. And of course, the logical response that anyone would have in this situation is,
Pride just doesn't like me because I used to be a piece of shit.
He then starts to create a scene and overreact, and then it becomes so much less about the baby crying and more about Tim's character confronting his past.
I'm worried that the baby thinks people can't change.
And coincidentally, the baby does know that he used to be a piece of shit and looks past his faults and accepts him for who he is. How beautiful! Or for example, the Dharma Doggy Door sketch. Who needs Severance to talk about a work-life balance and the dilemma of humanity when you have this? When Tim's character thinks that a monster crawled through his doggy door, he assumes the worst, that he's going to die in his home at the hands of a disgusting monster creature.
I thought I was gonna get eaten!
But then he starts to question everything.
And when you think you're gonna get eaten and your first thought is, great, I don't have to go to work tomorrow. You're relieved you don't have to go to work because you thought you were gonna get eaten? What the fuck is this world? What have they done to us? What did they do to us?
That kind of makes you think, if I died, I wouldn't have to go into work tomorrow. Oh my god, what? The ice cream lie where a father loops a stranger into his reasoning of not being able to take his daughter to go get ice cream slowly but surely becomes an unraveling of this man's deepest regrets and fantasies of wanting to live a more fulfilling life, even if it's just for a moment.
I own every kind of a classic car because I'm rich, right? Yeah.
There's so many instances where this show takes you out of your comfort zone with its ridiculousness. But then in a moment's notice, it will take you out of your comfort zone again by making you feel real deep emotions and tangible thoughts that you feel often but can't vocalize in the proper way. And for a sketch comedy show to have that many layers to it is truly incredible and makes it so unique in so many ways. I think Tim Robinson is one of the most prolific comedic minds that we have today. His ability to be absurd and thoughtful in the same breath is so refreshing and entertaining to see, and goes against the norm of what most cookie cutter attempts at humor do today. Style is truly his own. He breaks conventional rules, he doesn't cater, and he doesn't sugarcoat. I'm sure it would have been easy for Tim to just fade into the back when he was told he wasn't good enough for Lorne Michaels' weekly joke fest, but his self-belief led him to becoming bigger than just some regular on SNL. So if you feel as though that you are in a place that you aren't supposed to be, you could be doing more for yourself and others, that there is something better ahead, along the horizon, but it just isn't where you are right now, well, I would probably say that